So when I was going through this topic on issues and challenges in marketing of livestock products, particularly the dairy part, I would like to consider in my presentation, and not the beef part, and how new innovations and marketing strategies can help in increasing the farmer's income. So on that, I better thought to come out with some case studies and just sharing my mind with how I look at the possibilities of increasing profitability at the dairy farmer level. So as Dr. Sodhi set the context very well right in the beginning, kind of turnover which dairy industry is which is contributing almost 1/3 to the total I would say agriculture part of the GDP. So I'm just stopping my video so that the audio should not have any problem. So now the context with which I would like to start is that if we really want to do something for the improvement in the profitability of the farmer, and if we have to be innovative in our marketing approach, then we have to create a contemporary marketing environment in the dairy setup today at the rural level. So let us start. What is rural, let's say? So when we look at this, then is this rural for us, or is this rural? And if we take it further, then we can see that I am giving you figures, let's say of 2020, 730 million internet users are likely to be there. 75% of new internet user growth to come from rural areas. 75% of new internet users to consume content in local language. Mobile video content to grow at a 83% CAGR in next 5 years. And believe you me that with this COVID coming as a blessing in disguise, the online or digital, the scenario of the country has just changed. It has become a great equalizer in terms of creating outreach for the rural people or outreach for anyone from anywhere. That farm to table becomes or looks so close now that there have been so many people who have entered into this supply chain, particularly for dairy and food, because most of the people are considering dairy and food to be the least impacted businesses in post-COVID times. Now, when we talk about this IT, IoT, AI, robotics, those kind of things, how many of us really know that in reality this particular thing is happening? And there are companies, there are startups who are doing a wonderful job, maybe collecting almost 10% of the total milk in the country through their systems, using technologies where animal and in due course of time the animal identification is going to be there. They are working on the lines where the complete tracking is there, and then all the payment, the farmers rating, everything is happening around on the IT platform. The situation has reached to a level where the 100% traceability is now possible back to the farmer household, from where the milk is coming. And with this kind of systems in place, are we really ready? Because the only gap which I find from the rural side, particularly in dairy, it is going to be the market linkage. There is no difference in the products as such. If we look at the dairy, and if I talk of the dairy income narrative, then I have just tried to create a kind of a matrix where we have got farmer on one side in terms of opportunities for farmers. And then apart from processors, we have got aggregators, we have got marketers, we have got people who are simply collecting milk and then, or products from the rural side, and then they are distributing it further. Then we have got on the value addition side from low to high. Now, if we look at the farmer, then what he has got? He has got dung, he has got urine, he has got milk. I'm not considering, the livestock from the beef perspective over here. He has got products like ghee, in some cases khoa, in some provinces chena, where somewhat, higher value addition is there. But when we look at the processor, aggregator or marketer side, then we see that in low margin area, there are practically no products. The same dung becomes a Vedic paint, the urine becomes the Vedic phenyl, the milk becomes in different categories, A1, A2, we were just discussing a few minutes back. The ghee becomes Bellona A2 ghee, where Bellona itself is some kind of a patent which should always be preserved with the rural people. So if you look at the market and the power of marketing, then you will find something interesting. A2 is there, as I was mentioning. We have got Vedic paint, just I think 2 days back it has been launched. We have got Bellona ghee coming, at a very high price. We have got, good companies selling these phenyl in very attractive bottles and some online platforms. Even when we talk of Panchgavya, then we have got, some kind of soaps which are giving you Panchgavya Kanti. I just did a small kind of calculation because most of the time, people are talking about the farmer's profit and they are linking it to the dairy's profit. Somewhere I personally feel that from this moment onwards, we must delink both of them. And it is not, and it's not I'm not generalizing it, because if we look, we have been doing a complete analysis on the milk prices, product prices, supply chain kind of cost. At least in the COVID times, COVID gave us a lot of time, to think over it, to work on it. We found we categorically, divided the whole country into 3 kind of processors. Amul being one, then cooperative and the private sector. And in that particular case, definitely, Amul is a torchbearer in terms of, supporting the farmers, giving them the better rates. We have been into startups and dairy entrepreneurship almost more than 30 years now. And all the time we mention one thing only, don't worry, Amul is there, you can grow. Dr. Sodhi was also mentioning about those 100 crore rupees kind of business, which is very much possible, and right now with the changing consumer behavior, where consumer is shifting from loose to packaged kind of dairy products, a very clear possibility of around 15 million liters of milk per day processing, that thing which is shifting from, which is a low-lying fruit kind of a thing, shifting from, let's say, unorganized to organized, that is very much there. And with proper investment, anybody can, take that particular opportunity. And why not our rural people? Why not those farmers? Why not the entrepreneurs from there? So if we look over here, though I'm calling it to be a curve, but this is a curve having 3 straight lines, and it is showing from January to December 2020 how the farmer income has been considered as a price which he is getting for his milk, and then an equivalent kind of milk for which a market price has been given, and then the processor's income. So we have just considered 10 rupees as an overhead, to convert milk and taking it to the market. And then processor and the farmer's cost, we have considered, let's say for buffalo milk full fat, 6.59% fat kind of a thing, we have considered it to be around 36 rupees. We have just, averaged that particular thing out. Now you can see the top curve, which is the blue curve. And so that's a farmer's income. And, you can see the mirror image of that is coming out to be the profit from the processor side. So in that particular case, the farmer income, and if you look at as such as a mirror image, then we will see that I think they are just opposite to each other. I don't want to use opposite. I don't want to create any kind of correlation, because I think when we talk of companies like Amul, in that particular case, their tendencies, whatever is coming, that will be given back to the farmer back sooner or later. But still, if we look at it, both are delinked. Both of them, will have to become more efficient in order to find their profitability. So with this caveat, I would like to take you further on the way I see, the possibilities of how marketing could help our farmer, our rural side, to earn better. Now, COVID-19 is a blessing. We have seen the farmers at village level, they have learned, how to maintain social distancing, the kind of hygiene, which has to be created. So they were not only keeping themselves safe, but they were keeping their product also safe. They also learned when there was hardly any kind of commutation, transportation was not there. The lady at home was taking responsibility for AI, for the animals or animal health. The vendors, the milk vendor becomes so cautious that he was using more and more innovative way, in order to satisfy the customer requirement of maintaining social distance as well as delivering milk. And last but not the least, the consumer completely shifted to packaged products without having any kind of faith on available loose, unpackaged or unorganized sector products. Atmanirbhar is a new finding. 2020, we got our Atmanirbhar. And I think this Atmanirbhar we will have to take in true literal sense. And now, in order to make at least the rural dairy sector Atmanirbhar, I've just identified 4 major areas, starting with community infrastructure, inclusive services, inclusive marketing, and inclusive nutrition. Let's start with community infrastructure. So what kind of villages I would like to see in future, where you are creating or putting the foundation for the true marketing, dairy marketing by the rural folks themselves, by the farmer themselves, shifting from individual farmer to cooperatives, shifting from cooperatives to FPOs, as the dream of India is to have 10,000 FPOs in next few years. So let's start with this community infrastructure, and I'll be sharing a few stories linked to that also. Now, each farmer household has got, animals tied up in his home, and the current generation is not finding that particular thing quite attractive. There is a huge possibility of creating cow shelters. I visited Sudan. I saw over there, how the government has helped and converted large lands with large lands, further large lands, for agriculture also, where plots were being allotted. On similar lines in India, so many things are happening in UP, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. You can see where shelters are coming. The villagers can keep their shelters at one place. They can come in the morning. It's like a crash for their kids, where animals could be handled well. There is a common facility. You can have common facility for parlor also. You can milk them. You can go for a community biogas plant, meeting the requirements, and there could be some kind of models where, at all, what is happening, most of the time this dung is going to the common pond of the village, and then again disturbing the things. Instead, there could be a collecting mechanism, and we can do it. We can have a community, dung wood making kind of system, which can be done under self-help group or something like that. Agriculture clubs, farm clubs, those kind of things could come up and take these initiatives. There have been good funds available by the policymakers with different departments. Community infrastructure is not going to stop over here. It could be linked to, maybe at small scale, there could be some chilling arrangement. Again, what we do in cooperatives, but it could be done by the small group of farmers also, because such chillers are available from 3-4 cans onwards. I still remember, early 2000, there was a concept created by HPCL, that is Rasoi Ghar or Sanja Chula, where HPCL tried to give very good quality of fuel and very good quality of life, to the women in the village, to cook at a place which has got clean utensil, hygienic conditions, and very clean fuel at a very, very moderate rate. I tried to look for that particular thing. I was doing a survey in Mathura on Mathura Ka Peda, and we were trying, it was a project with NRDC, and we mooted for that it should get a GI mark, geographical indicator mark. It should be patented for that. So we were working with large number of, there were close to 185 people who were making khoa for that particular Mathura Ka Peda. And then we talked about that, could we have it, maybe probably Indian Oil was there, to have some kind of a community kitchen, like community khoa making. At that time, that particular dream didn't get fulfilled, but the similar thing happened in Maharashtra during the COVID. Those people set up a couple of kettles where farmers were getting their excess milk, converting into khoa and putting into the cold storage. What a way, in order to take care of the farmers at that particular time. And a large number of them also converted that into ghee, but such kind of facilities could be created in all the villages. Why to limit it to khoa? You can go for paneer, you can go for ghee, you can go for practically anything. Then the services part, which is most important thing. I was visiting in Faltan, I met this lady, and she's not only, she has got her own animals, she has got her own hydroponics, she has got a mini training center over there where she's supporting other farmer women also to come. She has set up on ethno-veterinary also. There is a huge possibility of earning and making this particular business sustainable at farm level. Hydroponics, ethno-veterinary, silage making, now this particular thing is coming up. Small feed mills are coming up. Let's say in Punjab, around Khanna or so, I was being told that more than 150 small cattle feed mills have come. So these farmers are making this business more, sustainable from the perspective of giving good feed and all that. This is another interesting area where you can have a mobile path lab. In December, with some intervention with DS Group in Project Manthan, we set up a PathVet lab where again we are looking at possibilities of having mobile kind of vet path lab. In order to develop these kind of services are available at different cooperatives, like Amul does it wonderfully well. NDDB has started a couple of interventions. But what I'm talking about, entrepreneurship at local level. Let those people, because they should think of dairy as a business, not just a matter of a part-time thing where, you are just milking the animal twice and then handing it over at some VLC. We'll have to think, beyond that. And maybe some sort of people, the LSS who are doing the AI services, carrying the liquid nitrogen. And I'm so proud to belong to a industry, when our Prime Minister was thinking of how the network or infrastructure, for that cold chain with LN2 at -70 or -90 degrees centigrade would be required. Immediately the people start thinking of the artificial insemination network being created by cooperatives like Amul, NDDB and Government of India efforts. Inclusive marketing. Now this is, I remember the Project Shakti, where, the Shakti Ammas, the downtrodden women of the villages, they were being converted into Shakti distributor, the distributor for HUL products, the true salesman for HUL products. On similar line, why can't I think of a dairy amma? Now what she is carrying on her head is a Godrej Chotu Cool, which is a small refrigerator. Now this refrigerator doesn't have capacity, doesn't have compressor, it doesn't cool on its own, but it maintains the cool. So on that basis, we can carry the dairy products in rural India where the requirement, the huge population is there and there has been a lot of shifting. I've heard Dr. Sodhi in a couple of his earlier webinars also that the consumption of dairy products, healthy products or packed healthy products is increasing in rural. Why can't we make this distribution inclusive over there? Let their milk come back. Let there be some kind of support to them where they can think of selling their own products, processing it in whatever manner, and in collaboration with some other dairy players, because it's a big social business model to be created. This is a model of Colgate Youth Brigade, where the rural youth were being used for selling Colgate. Why can't we use the rural youth, for selling dairy products? This is a great opportunity to be looked into. And last but not the least, we talk very high about so many things. India is the largest producer of milk, and when marketers talk about milk, they immediately relate it to the kids. But if such is the case, then from where this data is coming? India's children among the most malnourished in the world. 1 in every 5 children is wasted, meaning she is underweight for her own weight. If I look and take it further, while 1 in every 3 children is shorter for his or her age, implying stunting, We are amongst the bottommost 5 nations for the stunted and wasted children. And what can be done? Dairy could be a big game changer. Not only from the perspective of this malnourishment, taking care of this malnourishment, but creating a business model. And I would like to conclude with this real-time case study of Gramin Danone project, which is in our neighboring country, Bangladesh. So I'm not bringing in anything from the developed world on which somebody can have some kind of doubts. Why was it created? The same situation to fight malnourishment among children and women in Bangladesh, and maybe for a stakeholder like Danone to develop affordable products for the poor, capture new market segment, boost reputation. The product was affordable yogurt containing 12 nutrients missing from malnourished children. The price being kept at Taka 6 or 60 cents in rural areas and Taka 12 or rupees 120 in urban area. What a price differentiation strategy you can see. So, and then, I heard a lot from Mr. Mohammed Yunus from Gramin, and all the time he says that I told Danone very clearly that you can't take the profit back. You will have to invest throughout the country, to take this project further. You set up the plant in the rural area so that the supply chain and distribution costs are minimum, and then create this social model where you keep on selling, for the rural people, keep a separate price. And then what is the outcome? What is the impact? If a child eats 2 cups of yogurt per week, in 9 months, he or she can gain the missing nutrients in his or her diet, will no longer be malnourished. These are my thoughts on the topic. And I think at the end, I would like to say that if you have to think farmer, in that particular case, you have to think cow, and you have to think cow with technology. You have to create a scenario of true marketing. Whatever is happening in urban is no more. There is no gap between rural and urban. The technology, the IT, the COVID, and this online thing and digital has just shortened the distance like anything. Now we must create a real urban-like environment, meet the aspirations of rural people so as to make them prosperous. Thank you very much.